Hi, my name is Lester and I'm based in Auckland. I've spent a lot of time building what I call a prediction machine. Now, I'm not talking about prophecy or fortune telling. What I'm doing is analysing real world causes, the inputs, and then working out the most likely effects of those inputs. Why? Well, human behaviour, economic pressure and global events all leave patterns, and if you study those patterns, you can often see what's coming a long time before it arrives. Some things are outside of our control and we simply have to respond to them. Others are within our control, and understanding them early gives us a chance to prepare. What I've learned is that far more of the future is predictable than most people realise. Let me give you a simple example. How many primary school classes will be needed next year in New Zealand? At first glance that sounds impossible to know, but it isn't. All you'd need to do is look at the birth records from 5 years ago. Those children are about to enter school. With that information, you can estimate class numbers with surprising accuracy. That's the essence of prediction, understanding the causes so you can anticipate the effects. I want to be clear, I'm not claiming to be right about every outcome, but I am confident about the inputs. And if the inputs are correct, the likely outcomes become much easier to evaluate. So I built this prediction machine to help people, including you, think through what's coming, consider the range of possible outcomes and decide which ones matter to you personally or politically. I'm a political animal at heart. I care deeply about New Zealand and I care about Australia too. Whether we like it or not, our two countries are joined at the hip, economically, socially and through huge numbers of New Zealanders living across the Tasman, including my own family who are mainly there. Today I want to give you a small taste of how this prediction machine works. I can't just hand it over without teaching you how to drive it, so this is the first step in teaching that. What you're about to see is one major scenario broken into 3 causes. One of these causes is certain, the other 2 are highly likely. I've researched them in depth. But of course, there may be alternative outcomes, and I welcome other people's perspectives. The goal is to stay open-minded and to be informed. In the spreadsheet I'm showing you at the moment, you'll see a simplified list of occupations in New Zealand. There are around 180 occupational groups when you include government services. Actually, I found 289 government jobs listed, but I rendered them down to 11 types. I also did the same with many other industry sectors. I've grouped them at a high level so we can look at the macroeconomic picture without getting lost in unnecessary detail. The list you're seeing is comparatively small compared to larger Western economies, who have many fields of endeavour which are missing in our economy, like nuclear. There are about 180 all up for the New Zealand economy. From these figures, I did some more research and I estimated the GDP contribution of each occupation and the number of people that are employed in each group. Then I analysed the impact of 3 major external forces that are likely to hit New Zealand within the next 1 or 2 or possibly 5 years. These 3 forces are Scenario 1, the rise of artificial intelligence and its impact on employment. The group most at risk from AI is the white-collar workers, the managers, administrators and university educated professionals. These roles rely heavily on cognitive work and AI is extremely good at replacing cognitive workers. Robotics will eventually affect physical labour too, but that will take a lot longer. The key point is for our economy is that the people most affected by AI job losses globally are the same people who make up the bulk of our international tourism. So even if AI doesn't hit New Zealand workers as hard as it hits workers overseas, the impact will still reach us indirectly through a shrinking global tourism market. This impact will be large and it will be quick. I cite the very recent 1.1 million job layoffs in the IT sector in America due to AI, and that's just one sector. Scenario 2 looks at the loss of more than 1/3 of New Zealand's natural gas supply. The Maui gas field is expected to shut down this year, likely around April, just before winter. Gas is our second largest energy source after hydro. It's used not only in homes but in major industries, dairy processing, wood treatment, dry cleaning, hospitals, hotels, universities and more. There is no immediate replacement for it. This will hit employment hard, especially in the North Island, and this is an absolute. There is no escaping this impact. Scenario 3, well, that's the probable and significant increase of global oil prices. Many geopolitical analysts now consider a major rise in oil prices to be highly likely in the next few years. We're not talking about a small increase, we're talking about a doubling, or even more. Even then, the prices will still be below the highest levels we've seen in the recent past, but the economic shock would be enormous for us this time. The last time this occurred, we had some slack in the rope. Next time, we are hanging from the rope immediately. The timing, however, is undecided. 1, 2, or 5 years possible. As it stands, at the moment, we are likely to see a further small decrease in the price of oil due to an oil glut. However, that is not going to last very long. We know for certain that all of these 3 changes are going to occur. The only thing in question is timing. That is why I created the prediction machine, to show the likely timing. All of these 3 changes will have an impact on our economy. That is what I am about to discuss. So let's consider the obvious effects. Here is a very simple example of the logic applied to one of the scenarios, the AI job loss scenario. On average, there are about 9,700 aircraft in the sky at any one point in time every day. They are carrying around 1.3 million passengers at any one point in time. That is to say, global air travel averages 11 million passengers per day. The vast majority is for tourism. The majority of these tourists come from the middle to upper middle income sectors, like management and university educated people. This is also the sector most at risk to AI job losses, as in millions of jobs are disappearing right now because of AI, and the pace of these job losses is accelerating. So the world tourist economy is at great jeopardy because of AI. New Zealand tourism employs around 300,000 people. It generates around $28 billion of our GDP and makes up around 11% of our economy. If you think about it, the outcomes are predictable for New Zealand, but the timing relies on understanding buyer sentiment. The white-collar workers who are losing their jobs, who are the foreign tourists that we rely on to visit, will make decisions on where not to go. They won't have the money. So the question is, when does this happen and which countries lose out first in that process? The impact is not in question, just the timing. Back to the big picture. Each of the 3 scenarios that I will present to you will have an effect on employment, on GDP, on our government revenue. The brutality of these effects will be realised by the industries that rely on disposable income first: tourism, construction, hospitality and retail. Let's look at the numbers. New Zealand's GDP currently sits around $440 billion. Under the least bad scenario, for just the AI scenario, GDP falls to around $378 billion. The lower PAYE and GST paid means the government revenue, which is currently around $120 to $128 billion, drops to roughly $104 to $108 billion. Now if we add in the Maui gas shutdown, which by the way is guaranteed to happen in 2026, the revenue for the government falls below $100 billion, closer to $98 billion. If we add in scenario 3, where oil prices double in the near future, then government revenue drops to around $62 billion. That is a dramatic reduction in the government's ability to fund services, infrastructure and social support. Now let's look at employment. We currently have around 2.9 million full-time equivalent workers. Under the least bad AI scenario, that falls to around 2.46 million workers. Add in more with the Maui gas shutdown, and that drops to 2.42 million workers. And if we add in the oil shock, we're looking at around 2.36 million workers. It looks worse if you look at the next chart. In practical terms, unemployment rises from 160,000 people today to 435,000 people under the AI scenario, 460,000 people with the gas shutdown, and 540,000 if oil doubles in price. 500,000 unemployed New Zealanders, that is a crisis by any definition. And remember, this is the least bad scenario. So my goal isn't to frighten you, it's to prepare you. And these pressures are real. They are coming and we need to understand them so we can respond intelligently. I will produce more videos. I'll show you more scenarios and more data and more ways to use the prediction machine. Ultimately, I want you to understand the inputs, the logic, and the likely outcomes that are generated. If you find this useful, please like the video and subscribe. Forward this to your friends that also need to prepare for this not so pleasant future we are all facing. My next installment or video won't be far away. The prediction machine has shown me that there are many topics that will simultaneously affect us. A literal domino effect will play out. There are many dormant issues that we all know about, like debt levels and rising rates, that will become unmanageable in this process, and you need to be aware of them. But my ultimate goal is to help everybody make better political decisions. No more naivety, no more sleepwalking into this disaster. By preparing you, by educating you, I hope to influence you to vote for better leaders. I realise this video is full of doom and gloom, but I thought it was very important for you to understand. So thank you for watching. I'm Lester. See you in the next video.